All-Stars is only going to be a couple days away as the recording of this video, and I am super excited. I think this year's NBA draft could be one of the best we see in a very long time, not only when it comes to talent in the draft, but maybe some things surrounding the draft. A potential couple, maybe even superstar trades could go down on draft nights. Make sure you guys, of course, like the video, like the video, press the like button, even though no one ever presses the like button. Press the like button if you are excited for this year's NBA draft, if you're excited for the NBA Finals. I mean, once you're watching this video, the last game, Game 7's on right now. Let me know by celebrating the end of the year by giving this video a thumbs up. And also comment down below, what do you think about this year's NBA draft? What do you think is going to happen? You can give your own mock draft. What do you think the best player is, the worst player? How do you feel about this NBA season? Let me know down in the comments. Again, I'll be giving my own opinion, my own mock draft, but I do want to see where, again, the money makers are putting some people at. So, NBA mock draft for 2025. If you don't know the order, you're going to know now. Number 1 overall pick goes to the Dallas Mavericks. And, Noda Cooper Flag is going to be the number 1 overall pick. And I have been watching Cooper Flag the entire year, ever since his hype around him kind of competing at a pretty high degree with the NBA players at the Olympic sort of practices that were going on during the Olympics, where, the Olympic sort of new dream team was going on. Apparently Cooper Flag was there and was kind of pushing that team and kind of having his way, which is kind of cool. Goes in this call season with Duke and has a pretty stellar year, and it is without a doubt he is such a talent on both ends of the floor. He can pass, also his defensive sort of IQ is there. He's not just this one-dimensional player where you kind of have to mesh things around to make him a superstar. You can already see this guy is going to be a top 5 player in the NBA. I don't want to say without a doubt, but this guy's gonna be really good. He has a good head on his shoulder as well. Really highly competitive. Definitely going to be the locker room leader. Gonna be chatting it up with everybody. And that's what you want as your team's franchise player. Dallas, just after losing one, gets one back. And Cooper Flag. Consensus, Noda. Then with the number 2 overall pick, we have the San Antonio Spurs. Now this pick was kind of highly on the rise of people's opinions of, what if they trade their pick? And I was also one of those people thinking, what if they traded this pick for Giannis? Giannis is not going anywhere. I have the Spurs taking the draft pick here. They're going to be taking Dylan Harper, a guard from Rutgers, and if I could give a good comp for Dylan Harper, it is kind of like a best case scenario. Like he hits his true potential, he is going to be another Cade Cunningham type of player. A bigger 6'5", 6'6" guard who kind of does it on both ends. Good vision, can score, great mid-range. He's going to be a great combo guard in the NBA, and at Rutgers he really showed to be a step above everybody else. Now again, the talent, obviously playing at Rutgers isn't the best, not the best conference, not the best talent, but individually you can just tell that he is going to be the leader of a team, the point guard of a team that's going to be very, very successful. And you're pairing that up with Victor Wembanyama and a duo in the backcourt with Stephon Castle. Oh my god, a Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper backcourt. Oh, you Spurs fans, I can't handle you guys, oh my goodness. Pick number 3, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. This pick has also been kind of in the buzz of maybe some potential trade offers. Potentially Kevin Durant. Some people don't think KD is worth a number 3 overall pick. I am people, but you never know. Maybe the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers sees this window closing on Joel and gonna throw everything that they can to try to get that championship. But I think they take the pick. And at number 3, I think they will be taking VJ Edgecombe. And it looks like on CBS Sports they agree. Now there is used to be consensus number 3 overall pick in Ace Bailey. George, Jerry McCain, Tyrese Maxey. He wants his own team. They're going to take VJ Edgecombe, who is a great two-way player. Sort of a comp to him would be something around like a Victor Oladipo, like an Indiana Victor Oladipo type of player where, I mean, if you remember like 2018, 2017, Indiana Victor Oladipo, that's a really good player, and he has that potential. Definitely needs a little bit more oomph on that offensive end, but defensively he's potentially the best perimeter defender in this draft class with some great upside and crazy athleticism. Him in a backcourt with Tyrese Maxey for the future is just perfect. Then with the number 4 overall pick, we have the Charlotte Hornets. And Ace Bailey is going to continue to drop because, again, Ace Bailey, in my opinion, does not want to be on a team with anybody else who's at least at that sort of level of competitiveness. And they already have LaMelo Ball. And LaMelo Ball is a ball-dominant player. So is Brandon Miller. So is Miles Bridges. They already have players that really need the ball to be very sufficient in the NBA. And I don't think Ace Bailey wants to be on a team like that. And I think teams are going to see that and be like, oh, we don't want that headache. We're going to move past that. At number 4, I have Con Knipple going to the Charlotte Hornets now. Is Con Knipple the best available player? No. Does he have high upside? Also no. But I do think Con Knipple in the position of Charlotte is perfect. Charlotte needs some, let's just say, dudes with character. I think Con Knipple is a great piece to that puzzle where if you can get a couple more people with not so craziness going on, we all know how crazy LaMelo Ball is and kind of the things that have been going on with some of the other players that have been there, and that franchise is kind of in a rut right now. Getting sort of like, high basketball like you guys like Con Knipple, who are just guys you just want on your team and championship caliber teams are going to pray for when they're at that level. Guys like Derek White, I mean, there's type of player where they just kind of do everything that you want in a championship pedigree player. He's going to shoot the ball lights out. He's going to be a pretty solid defender, and you definitely need that next to LaMelo Ball. Perfect 2-guard next to LaMelo, in between Brandon Miller. Bada bing, bada boom. I think it's a perfect fit. And then with the 5th overall pick, we have the Utah Jazz. And guys, oh man. Like, if I am the Utah Jazz, I am taking Ace Bailey. Utah right now, no offense, doesn't really have their next guy on that team. That sort of cornerstone. They have nice little pieces, but not really a guy to take the helm. No offense to Lauri Markkanen either. I would take Ace Bailey. I don't think Utah takes Ace Bailey either. I think he falls again. I think some people are not going to be liking what's going on with Ace Bailey, and definitely now more than ever in the NBA, teams are really starting to build character. No offense to Ace Bailey, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but we all know what Ace Bailey wants. He wants to put up as many shots as he possibly can, and I think, in my opinion, Utah's not a place that really is going to cater to that. I think they're building more of like a team kind of build, which is really great, and I think they're going to go with Trey Johnson instead. Trey Johnson is a guy who also is going to like to put up a lot of shots. They're playing for a Texas team, a little bit more together, a very solid Texas team this year, might I add. I think he just adds what they need for sure in like a great scoring burst, and potentially can hit a pretty high upside, but also maybe just fits the mold of a Utah team than an Ace Bailey. No offense. And that's where we get to the number 5 pick, Washington Wizards. That's where Ace Bailey goes. 6 is Ace Bailey to the Wizards. Oh my god, all the way to 6. 7, I have the Pelicans taking probably just the next best guard available, because CJ McCollum is still on that roster and definitely need to think of the future past that, especially because they traded Dyson Daniels. Definitely think they did not like that, and I feel like that's a pretty solid pickup, right? A 6'3" guard who's very much on the higher on the offensive end. I think he has great athleticism. Shooting the ball can definitely be a lot better, but I think you're just taking the best guard available to sort of replace CJ, at least in the next year or two, while CJ probably starts waving goodbye to his NBA days, which it probably is close at that time. Him in the backcourt with DeJounte Murray, a very much more lengthy defender, will be perfect and sort of have that sort of combo together. I think it makes a lot of sense. You then have with the 8th overall pick the Brooklyn Nets. And this is where Jake Baller comes in with the hot take. Maybe it's not really a hot take. Maybe it's a reach. Maybe you could call it that. I think in every NBA draft, I think last year you could probably argue it was Dijon Salon. A team gets really into and romanticizes the idea of the peak of a player. The Brooklyn Nets have been flirting with the idea of getting Giannis Antetokounmpo in the future. If they can't get Giannis, why not try to make a Giannis? I think Brooklyn drafts Noah Asenge here with the 8th overall pick. Noah Asenge, you probably have never heard that name if you're not super deep into the draft lore, is about a 6'10 forward who has sort of very raw Giannis-like ability. He's right now playing overseas and is actually kind of dominating over there right now. He is definitely just a rim-running, athletic forward who tries to do everything, and he kind of has the molding to do it all. It just really needs time to develop and fine-tune. He does need to get a little bit bigger, kind of like what Giannis needed to do as well. Again, the Nets probably will never get Giannis, but if they can't get him, I think in their minds they're going to try to make one in Noah Asenge, and I think that potential is there. Not at that level, but it's always a possibility. Number 9, the Raptors. That's a pretty easy pick with Kaman Maluwak from Duke University. Toronto definitely needs a center of the future. No offense, Jakob Poeltl. Love Jakob. But you already got Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett. You got Brandon Ingram now and Scotty Barnes. No offense, I don't think Maluwak is really in. I think Jakob Poeltl really isn't in that future starting 5 plan. I think Maluwak is still a very high energy defensive rim running big who's just gonna demand the defensive end as much as possible, and I think that is exactly what Toronto needs. I've had a lot of people, including I think this article, have them taking some guards, I think, right? Oh no, they actually do also have them taking the center, which is a good idea. But I've seen some other people draft a guard here, which I don't think. When you have Emmanuel Quickly making like plus 30 mil a year, him potentially getting a replacement so early in his tenure there, I don't think you're going to want to mess with that. I think you just draft big, the best available big. You do that if you're Toronto. With the 10th overall pick, CBS Sports actually has them taking Carter Bryant, which does kind of make sense. I mean, the Rockets really just need to kind of just solidify what they have already and just improve. Carter Bryant is also definitely a swing type of player where if he hits, I mean, this guy can be one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He's already a great three-point shooter, at least the small vacuum that we saw in Arizona, and his athleticism is off the charts. He measured really well too. I think he measured at about 6'6", 6'7", without shoes, so he's about 6'8" on the court. He can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions. Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I think, Rockets with Carter Bryant is actually a super solid pick. The only scary thing about Carter Bryant is he legit a player that scored 6 points per game in college and came off the bench? Is that good enough? I have no idea, but I did watch a lot of Arizona last year. They are my favorite college basketball team. You see the potential. You definitely see it on the defensive end, but offensively, will he become that? I don't think so, but close to it. I think like a really solid 6th, 7th man is where he will probably be. Could he start on a good team? I think but I think the Rockets just need to solidify that team. I think Carter Bryant's perfect for that role. Then, with the 11th overall pick, with the 11th overall pick, I have the Portland Trail Blazers. Oh geez. I am going to pick someone who I think the Blazers are looking at, but I also am picking who I think I would like at that draft position, which, by the way, at this position, it's just a crapshoot. It's just, one or two of these 10 guys are going to be really, really, really good, and you just hope you get one or two of those guys. I think Portland will probably draft either Yegor Demon or Derek Queen with this pick. I really am thinking that Portland is liking their size, their length, and I think they're going to try to want to keep up with that sort of trend. And I think Yegor Demon is probably the perfect draft pick for Portland here. I just don't really like that idea because you kind of already have almost a peak version of a potential Yegor Demon in Denny Avdia. So you're kind of just picking a worse version of a player that you already have at the same position, kind of same height. Now, of course, Yegor Demon can play point guard, but to be honest, I think Denny Avdia could also play point guard, so they're kind of similar. I'm going to pick a little bit outside the box. Portland, off the bench, needs offense. They need someone to control the ball. Now, of course, with all the trade speculation of potential Anthony Simons, you kind of might need someone being there. I think Portland drafts Jakob Jonas. Kasparis Jakob Jonas with the 11th overall pick, and he does that. He does offense. In my opinion, he was one of the best passers. He's still a bigger size guard at about 6'5", 6'6", and when he does play, he looks like a player that he controls the game. Now, is it out of control sometime? Absolutely, and that's just any young player in the NBA playing the guard position. I mean, we have Scoot Henderson, who it's taking him 3 years to even try to understand that game a little bit more, kind of slow down the game. And it'll be the same thing for Kasparis, but the way he plays, the fouls, and his shooting ability, I can see him just being a really good spark guard off the bench where he can give you, 10 to 15 points, 5 to 6 assists. He's going to be a spark plug off the bench because right now Portland's bench is garbage. With the 12th overall pick, we have the Chicago Bulls taking Derek Queen. This one's also kind of easy. Derek Queen does have a lot of upside, and with Nikola Vucevic having kind of a questionable future with that team, kind of being one of the last old heads on that roster, once that domino piece falls, I think having Derek Queen there to sort of take the reins as the next starting center for that team, playing alongside Montes Buzelis and Gibi and Kobe White, blah blah blah, that young core is looking pretty good there in Chicago, and drafting your future plans of a center is absolutely what they're going to do. At 13, you have the Hawks. I think this is where Igor Demon, I think it's Igor Demon. I think this is where Demon goes. With the size problem kind of going around with a lot of teams in the NBA having, guys in that 6'7" to 6'10" range that can play a bunch of different positions and guard a bunch of different positions is super valuable. Igor Demon is that. It's just he's very raw in that capability. His shooting in college was also garbage, and his free throw percentage also shows that. I am a true believer in free throw percentage tells all. If you are a good free throw shooter, you are a good shooter. You understand the mechanics of a shot, and you can kind of figure it out. And Igor Demon was not only a bad free throw shooter, but a bad three-point shooter. I think that three-point shot will be a lot better, but not to where you would really want it to be. I think the Hawks take the swing on the size of a 6'9" point guard, and maybe if they do potentially trade Trae Young one day, he could be a replacement, at the highest potential. Then with the 14th pick, we have the Spurs again. Yes, the Spurs, who already have Victor Wembanyama and trade for De'Aaron Fox, and have the number 2 overall pick. They get another pick at 14. And this is kind of just another shot in the dark. Obviously, when you're thinking of the Spurs, you want to definitely build around Victor as best as possible. The best thing you can build around Victor is shooting and defense. That's, at least in my opinion, you want to be able to create as much space for Victor to do his thing. So I have them taking more of a forward. I have 2 names in mind, either Colin Murray Boyles or Rasheer Fleming. And Fleming was a 40% three-point shooter last year and was also very surprising in his draft combine measurements when it came to not only his length but his speed as well on the court. I think this guy's potential to play maybe some small ball 5, but definitely more of a 4, and I think having him potentially, that's going to be the word of the video, potentially, if Jeremy Sohan doesn't really turn out to be that sort of future starting 4 next to Victor, why not a stretch 4 who can shoot 40% from 3 to sort of open the lane for Victor, or the speed of course, a De'Aaron Fox, or craftiness of Dylan Harper, sitting him in the corner, plays great defense, pretty solid rebounder. Why not go for it? He's also a little bit older too, so maybe you don't have to really put too much effort into him. I like that pick there. Now just very quickly, some names that I personally like in this year's draft from the players I didn't already talk about. I do like Cedric Coward. I think he's going to be a player in this range where he could jump to the number 10 pick, or he could fall to the 20th pick. I think he only played about 8 or 7 games in college last year, played for Washington State. He is a local guy as well, so shout out to Cedric Coward, but he's a guy who played D3, D2 college, and then played a couple games for Washington State. He has good numbers, but is it really washed over? I have no idea. He is definitely a very scary player to touch. He's already had some injury stuff going on with him, so that's definitely a boom or bust player, but definitely has the potential. Colin Murray-Boyles, we did already talk about as well, who's, again, arguably one of the best defenders in this draft class. I've already said that about a couple people, but definitely can say that about him too. No three-point shot though, very slow. I remember seeing his draft combine and seeing him jump. He looked like he had cinder blocks in his shoe. Not very athletic, but gets the job done. That guy could also be a very sneaky good player if he does figure it out. Anybody else that I really like? Nick Clifford, a senior from Colorado State. I could see him going to like a OKC or a Memphis team. Maybe Houston loves him at 10 for some reason. And having a senior who is a really good scorer, averaging 19 points and 10 rebounds, shooting almost 40% from 3. A team that was also in the tournament too for March Madness. Maybe you like that on a more veteran-led team and kind of sneaks his way up in the draft as well. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this video. I don't really do a lot of sports talk that much anymore because, well, football's not really going on, basketball's not really going on. It's just the NBA Finals, and baseball is just baseball, and maybe I'll try to find some other things to talk about, but I'll definitely do a recap of the NBA draft and talk some sports here very soon as well. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight's video. Again, make sure, please, you guys like this video. If you guys enjoy me whisper rambling about sports anymore,